Hey, this is Cameron and welcome to the reaction log. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Oh boy, when your job is criticizing some person's every move, the work never ends. That's how it seems, because guess what was just posted 7 hours ago? 6,000 views. Don't worry, Diodario. We'll help you out with that. We'll funnel some more sweet, lucrative views to you. You know, I'll tell you, I just got back from my parents' house. You know, it's like a couple hours away, all that. My parents' separate house. I mentioned I come from a divorced family, and it's very telling, I think, from the style of content that I make. I'm just always looking for attention. Neither here or there, sorry. But it was for Thanksgiving, of course, and I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. And I just gotta say, I am thankful for this month that we've had, with Marcin doing so many interesting things, and then I get to talk about it. Let's actually look at the top comments really quick. We're not even gonna get into the video yet. Look at this, 5 hours ago, I can see Sore gooning to this interview. I don't know what that means. I'm too old for that. Sore hands can have a field day. I mean, it is just undeniable. They cannot get away from sore hands. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, dude. Some see a guitar, some see art, sore hands sees a case file. Oh my god, it is so funny to me that they just can't get away from the sore hands. Oh god. Do I feel a little bad about it? Maybe so. I will certainly get over it, as always. So what exactly is it that we have here? This is a Diodario sponsored interview featuring Marcin. Last name. Still don't know how to say his last name. I'm sorry, Marcin. And I think what's most interesting about this is that we're gonna actually hear Marcin speak in an interview. Who's not excited about that? I can't wait to get into this. Let's do it. Before I do, maybe I should go ahead and mention, like, what is my purpose here? Why am I so interested in this sort of thing? Well, let me tell you, I am a classical guitarist here on YouTube. And what does it mean to be a classical guitarist? It means that ever since the start of your YouTube career, you have been knocking on Diodario's door. You've made countless videos where you mention them. You've even DM'd them several times at various stages of popularity of your YouTube channel. This is actually kind of embarrassing and sad to look back on, but look at how desperate I was for that sweet Diodario attention. December 9th, almost Christmas at 8:10 p.m. Great business hours for messaging someone. I have a YouTube show about classical guitar. Want to sponsor me? And then I hit them up a month and a half later. Hi, I'm the owner of the YouTube channel Sorehands. I was wondering if y'all would be interested in a potential sponsorship. I have 3,500. Whoa, dude, I'm growing. And then even again, oh my god, in September, I reached out to them. I don't know what I was thinking for this. At 450. What a terrible thing. But you can really see the evolution of my emails. My name is Cameron Fernandez, and I am the guitarist and content creator behind the YouTube channel Sorehands. 36,000 subscribers. Man, I've been growing, huh? It's like 2 months later. I'm already at 51. This channel averages between 10 and 20,000 views per day. Not anymore, it doesn't. Ever since the Marcin thing, which again, I'm thankful this Thanksgiving for you, Marcin. It's a lot more than that. So my point is, you keep reaching out to them, you keep mentioning them, and they just treat you like they're some quarterback and you're some nerd in the band. Just nothing. You're dirt on their shoes. They don't give an F about you. But lo and behold, they found somebody cooler than the nerd in band. It's this guy. And Marcin, you enjoy that sponsorship. You enjoy Diodario, but you know what? Let me tell you something. In a couple of years from now, you might be not doing so hot in your lowest hour. They will drop you. They will drop you like it's hot, and they will treat you like nothing, because that is what they do. And guess what, Marcin? When that happens, I will be there. Be there to make fun of you. All right. I think we're in this one now. That's what it means to be a classical guitarist, by the way. Be sure to sign up for lessons. I'm not taking new students. You know the deal. All that being said, this is going to be a great opportunity just to hear Marcin's perspective on everything, whatever it is that he'll talk about, and I will give you my opinion on it, and then we're all going to go home. Let's play the video.
I'm a music nerd.
Emphasis on nerd. Ooh, I'm sorry. Just kidding.
Music.
Alright, I know that it's my thing to pause and comment every 2 seconds. I'm going to try to not do that as much this time, so let me just get some stuff out of the way. This is the room required to film his How Music Works video. It's just a man, a guitar, and $1 million worth of recording equipment. Am I fake now? No, Marcin, you're not fake. Except for that one little part that I called out. Also, Diodario, send this man a new shirt. It's all tattered up and stuff. What is it with kids these days and their torn up clothes, growing out their nails, slapping on guitars?
What's up, y'all? This is Marcin.
Oh, shoot. Alright, take it away, Marcin. Is that how you say your name? Oh god, dude. I've made so many videos about you, calling you Marcin. I guess I can't pronounce his first name either.
To answer some questions with Diodario. I'm a polite classical boy at heart.
I know that polite classical boy is in there somewhere. He just needs to be found. I'm sure we'll find him in the next 20 years or so.
I started playing when I was 10 years old. I told this story many times. It was a complete accident. The main thing that I remember, that it was the first time when I felt like I was good at anything, you know. Like everything else I was doing, I was just an average kid. And my father would send me to all sorts of, like activities just to do.
I think for a lot of people who have guitar as a lifelong pursuit, that's a pretty common thing. It's a big scary world out there, and I remember when I played guitar for the first time, I spent the whole weekend learning Sweet Child of Mine, and I could like play the first 8 notes like consistently. It was a really good feeling, and I've spent my entire life chasing that. And I'm saying that because first off, I've had music lessons like since elementary school. That's grade school in America. You go to music lessons like every week or whatever. And I also took orchestra throughout middle and high school. And I'm a musician. I always have been. I know that's like in me. But I never had that feeling in orchestra. But there's something about guitar, how it's kind of not a part of any like system. It just makes you feel like kind of a rogue renegade when you practice that. Even classical guitar, there's something kind of rebellious about it because its place in the classical world is kind of dubious already. So yeah, I would say anybody who cares enough about guitar to make it their whole identity and personality, they probably felt that way.
It was just almost like it was just organic, there was no one had to tell me to do it or like how long to practice or anything.
My kids won't have that luxury. I'm gonna be like, you better practice right now. I'm getting the belt if you don't practice. I'm just kidding.
I felt a bit limited by the amount of tradition in classical.
Dude, again with the tattered up, like, do you have moths in your house or something? Diodario, whatever you're paying them, throw them a little more money, for the love of God.
A bit limited by the amount of tradition in classical music, and as you develop as a guitar player, you notice that the improvements that you do are tiny, they're minute. It came to the point where like the type of gel that I would use or wouldn't use on my nail would be the thing to improve for the competition, or the angle of playing. You can hear the difference.
Are those the things you didn't like about classical music? I would have guessed that it would be like how your teachers reacted to what you play in your leisure time. I wouldn't think that it's the little fine details like attack of the string and what angle your left hand is going to be at and the gels that you would use. I would actually wager to bet you're still probably a little obsessed with that stuff to this day. Is that really what you meant to say? I don't know. Let's hear them out.
Which obviously they're nice to care about, but they're a bit mathematical, right? They're too rigid for me. So eventually I was growing a little further and further apart from classical.
But you still think about that stuff. I don't think that's what you were running from in classical. From what I know about you, it sounds like it was more the pedagogy and how the people treated you more than anything. Not those little details. I'm pretty sure you still think about that.
Playing flamenco music.
Uh-oh.
Sick.
Yeah, it's sick. It's disgusting.
Met a Spanish player called Carlos Piñana. Phenomenal player. He was a professor at a university in Valencia. So, pretty big fish, university professor. And I met him when I was a tween, I was a young kid. And I saw him play, and it was this like classically everyone plays like this, and there are these like, they do these like this like facial expression thing.
Nice classical piece.
And they just play like that for an hour. That's
Well, shoot, if that's classical music, who would want to see that, right?
That's a classical concert. I was so bored watching that, and then I saw him.
Dude, you know what? Like, there's a lot to disagree with you, Marcin. I get bored at classical concerts, too. Honestly, it's kind of the same at any concert. Like, I've been to a few different styles of concert, like, like rock concerts and all that stuff. And if you're not familiar with the repertoire that's being played, which is funny to say for a rock concert, the rock repertoire, it is going to be boring. That's sort of the beauty for me about classical guitar. Like, I know a lot of people get, like, persnickety about this, but not liking to hear other people's Bach interpretations, but it's like the variety is the point of going. Like, I am so familiar with a couple of Bach fugues, especially the ones that I've learned. It's just so fascinating to hear how another person plays that thing. When you're that invested in a genre, it doesn't matter how like boring on the surface it is, it's going to be really riveting for you. And to you, that might seem like, oh, well, there's so much prerequisite to enjoy something like this. Yes, there is, but but never in my life have I ever enjoyed something so much as hearing like the chaconne. And now what I'm saying sounds like pretty elitist, because it's like, what is European classical music, like the highest form of music possible? No, absolutely not. Like I feel the same way about like bebop jazz. To really appreciate something like that, it takes a lifetime of trying to appreciate it. And then once you do finally get it, it's like magic. And of course, if you compare it to something like Green Day or like any kind of pop music, like Green Day is like kind of an old example, but I remember when I was a kid when I first heard Green Day, and it was like immediately enjoyable. And I also listened to Mozart when I was a kid, and it was not as immediately enjoyable. But guess which one I hold in higher reverence now? And yes, I am a classical musician too, so maybe that's part of it. It's the same thing with the jazzers too, though, so separate from what I do. Like, it's not immediately accessible, but man, it will take you to the freaking stratosphere if you allow it to. Like, it'll take you all over. And Green Day's just not gonna do that. Sabrina Carpenter, it's not gonna take you all over. All right, that's all.
At some workshops, and the guy was like moving around, you know, was like playing all of the rasgueado stuff, and like moving around and everything. It was like so sick.
Yeah.
I wanted to be like him, you know, so I went to his class. I saw him play, then I played for him, just some classical stuff. I didn't know what else to play.
Oh man, I bet you felt like a chump playing your classical tunes for that guy too. Just seeing him kill it with the rasgueados on stage, being all like cool in his suit, and then you just come in with your like Spanish romance, like boo, boo, doo, doo, boo. It's definitely a balance. Like, obviously, classical guitar, it's not as exciting as that. I will concede, you have to fight for the excitement. But again, it's the most beautiful and complex and perfect kind of excitement I can imagine. So that's why I like it.
Saw something, I don't know what he saw, but
dude, look at you.
He encouraged me to learn flamenco, and he didn't.
Dude, what's this like? Was this the audition? Why is it a professional looking video? This looks like nicer than any video I've ever filmed. This was like 10 or 12 years ago too. So like, where did the filming equipment come from?
I bought his book, the sheet music book. Then I parted ways with him for a year, and I was just practicing on my own. Whole year I was practicing flamenco without any teacher or any guidance. Not a great thing to do.
Thank you for saying that. I was kind of self-taught in that period of my life, and that was a bad thing for me. I wish that wasn't the case. That was a very responsible thing to say, because I know that you excelled a ton because you're naturally gifted, obviously, and you like really connected with the guitar. But man, if you were able to study with that guy for that year, you would be a whole lot better, I'll tell you that. I can be better. Sometimes I wonder if I could be worse. Maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, man, I was like really going hard, and I learned this farruca is a type of dance in Spain. I learned this whole farruca that he wrote, and the next year at the workshops I played it for him, and he went nuts, man. He loved it. I remember it. So now I got a teacher who was teaching me from Spain through Skype. Back then, Skype was a big thing.
Hey, online lessons too. Look at that. You want to be Marcin? Take online lessons. I'm not taking new students. I know people who are, though. Other fellow grad students. Oh, I'm in grad school, by the way. This message is approved by Marcin.
Look at me, how old I am back then. It's a weird way to put it, but you know, I'm not Spanish.
What? You're not Spanish? I don't know, man. Are you sure about that? I think maybe you just spent too much time inside. I think you could be Hispanic. I mean, I'm just kidding. I am Hispanic. Did you know that? I'm actually Cuban. You wouldn't be able to tell from the way I play guitar, though. All right.
Spanish music felt a bit like cosplay, almost. Even though it's not, you know, but it felt like it wasn't something from within. It was more...
You know, that's funny because I could play Cuban composers and it kind of feels like I'm cosplaying too because I sound like this. Like, I just totally don't have that vibe at all. So I kind of feel like an imposter doing that too.
This is just one aspect of a live show, but the visual part is so important, and even for people where you wouldn't necessarily expect it, like if you talk about someone like Andrea Bocelli, you know, you can there's always a...
Dude, that piece you were playing when you were a kid is like really cool.
I think that was really the big change for me.
I know that you're not going to be a millionaire playing that, but man, I would like to see the whole thing of that. That sounds pretty good, man. Were you like 13 in this video too? It sounds awesome.
Performance,
dude, yeah, you're like
more than
ripping
just
it up.
The sonic experience, you know? The visual part is so important, and even for people where you wouldn't necessarily expect it, like if you talk about someone like Andrea Bocelli, you know.
Yeah, he seems like a real natural performer there.
Vibe that a person has, and aura that a person has on stage. And I just felt that in classical music,
It's very opposite from the last guy, dude. Let me see that kick again.
in
Yeah.
classical music, few people had that. I'm not saying no one does, obviously they do. But especially in classical guitar, it's just a very stagnant genre, and flamenco is not, man. All these guys are like...
Hey man, when you're playing something like a fugue or the chaconne, you might have to like sit still for a second, definitely. But yeah, if all you're doing is Raschiatos, you can kind of do some of that. You know, you might have an easier time kicking your feet up like that. So I don't know. Again, I kind of feel like we're comparing apples and oranges here. Is there something that you could play that would make you stop stomping around? If the answer is no, then you're probably just not being challenged enough to make yourself stop stomping around. Something's out there though, I promise you. You just gotta find it.
It just looks good, you know?
Yeah, again, but what else looks good? Like when you see Slash down here. And yeah, that does kind of look cooler, I guess, maybe to more people than some like stuffy classical concert where they're just ripping some insane crap. But that would have a really hard time capturing me for my entire life. Sorry if you're a dad and you've been into Guns N' Roses your entire life. I said for me, all right? For me, that's not going to capture me for my whole life. It did capture me for a couple of years when I was a teenager, but like, I don't know, it's not enough. There's not enough going on for me.
I just started to understand that performing is more than just playing the right notes, you know? You are the nails. That's the money shot that everyone asks for.
The Marcin money shot. He gave it to us for free too. What a nice guy.
But I'm a true enemy of the pick. I don't use a pick ever. I don't need a pick. Even if I play electric, I'm not gonna use a pick, man.
Dude, that is so refreshing to hear from someone in the public eye. Just picks, you don't need them. He's probably more elitist about it than me, because I've used picks on this channel, just like, because I have nothing against them. I used them for the first like 7 years of my playing. That is some real anti-pick elitist talk right now, and I am all here for it. Also, by the way, this is a Diodario sponsored interview, so you know those people behind the camera are like, go freaking stop, Marcin, what are you doing, man? We sell picks, dog. Don't be saying that, man. It just cuts black, and then Marcin's like, here at Diodario, we actually really love picks, and you should buy all the different varieties of picks we have.
Why do I need a pick if I have 5 picks right here on this hand? And this is something that comes very much from classical, very much from flamenco.
Dude, wonderful to hear. Wonderful. What, do you guys want me to hate on this? What's to hate? It's perfect. Dude, screw picks. Stop using them. Use your fingers.
No.
Work on your rest stroke.
Self-respecting classical player is going to play with a pick, man. That would be...
Ooh. Dude, it's crazy how I'm the classical guitar elitist and I'm still not elitist enough for Marcin. Dude, you know Tim Henson and Ichika are reviewing this, and they're just like, bro, watch it, dog. No more collabs if you keep talking this pick slander. Dude, also, shots fired on Al Di Meola. No self-respecting classical guitarist would ever use a pick. It's disgusting. It's vile. Marcin, I'm glad you said it. I didn't even say that. I like picks, but I'm glad that you're saying it. I'm glad that there's someone out there fighting the good fight against evil. When it comes to me, do as I say, not as I do. You'll see me play with a pick. Don't scratch up your French polish in your guitar. Don't do that. Listen to Marcin on this one.
I can't even imagine what that would look like. No, I'm not using a pick. I'm never using a pick, man. Same with flamenco. Like, how am I gonna play something like... you know? Like something like that.
Dude, I'll show you exactly how you do that. You have to do like Al Di Meola and just like tense up really hard. Is this Raschiato? I'm still working on that Raschiato, trying to coordinate playing scales with Raschiato. I still can't do it. I'm not even close to being able to do it. But man, like, what's the fastest I can play with a pick? That's pretty quick. All right. Coordinating that. That's a different story, though. It's not happening. I'll update you guys on that in a few months. I'm probably wasting my time with that one, to be honest, but Man, like, a guy can dream, right? Like, that would be so cool. Yeah, whatever. All right, dude, screw picks. Like, I don't know. Just to naysay Marcin, it is hard to beat the, like, precision and just being able to kind of slap the pick around and just play scales, and then you can just kind of play fast automatically. You know, I hear you, though. Picks are stupid. Don't play with them. Just practice your rest stroke a whole bunch.
Like if you're doing rasgueado,
you can just kind of grab your finger like that. It's not the same, though, because I think it sounds worse, like, because you have to kind of play with the flesh on one side. The pick is at least consistent. Up and down stroke, you can make it sound pretty good, but, like, even what I just heard there, it's not the same, like, as if you practice playing with a pick for a little bit. You could get it way better than that.
this sort of rasgueado, how am I using a pick and doing that?
You're not. You're not using a pick and doing that, specifically. Picks are only good for that one thing that I said.
Look, let me make a pick right now behind my back. Oh,
where are you getting that pick from, Marcin? Where are you reaching?
I got a pick right here. Check this out. Oh my god.
Yeah, see, it doesn't sound that good, though, right? Like, I'll try it, too. Let's see. Like, it sounds even thinner than a normal pick. Oh, man, it's so, like, it's so much better. There's no... The finger pick is not the answer. That's not what I'm looking for. Though the finger pick is the only way to mute and pick. But man, again... Maybe that is what the pick has, like just doing that one technique there, which is like a critical technique for like any electric guitar genre. So I don't know, it's tough. Again, I love the anti-pick elitism, but you know, I gotta be the sensible one in the room on this. Like, it's certainly hard to replace the pick, but Lord knows I'm trying, and I'm glad that you're trying to.
I can pick now.
Kinda.
How am I doing that? Where's the pick? Where's the pick? It's the nails, dude.
You can judge for yourself how that sounded versus like if you can imagine he practiced. Like, you could practice with this for like a month and it would sound better than that.
My dad always wanted me and my brother to learn languages, like learn English especially at a young age, because you know, helps in life. I think because of that, he gave me a PC, like a computer, pretty early. I think I was like around 10, around the same age I started playing guitar. I got a computer from my dad. And I was only using
And the guitar practice just stopped.
like my computer to learn English and using like English websites. As I was learning guitar, I started to use the internet to like the global internet, I mean like, you know, American or British or whatever. So I'm finding all of these weird genres and weird players who wouldn't necessarily be the typical guitar heroes. Like, they wouldn't be the cover of a magazine. They're not the sort of influences that I had at a young age. And that's also how I found percussive guitar.
Man, Dario, could you turn the music down a little bit? I can barely freaking hear him.
Players from there like Andy McKee or Caleb Graham or even Mike Doss, you know, at some point. A lot of these people came through Candy Rat and I was watching them like foaming at the mouth, man. I was like, wow, this is the coolest thing ever. And I was listening to a lot of like rap at that point, 50 Cent or something, dad metal, because my dad used to love, like still loves heavy music, Metallica, Bullet for My Valentine.
Freaking. All right, man. We have all the prerequisites down for a good modern classical guitarist.
Yeah, and all of these things, it was just a soup of influences. And my way of rebelling was just going as far away from the classical tradition as I could, almost just to piss people off, you know?
One might even say that you're rage baiting.
Which I still do to this day. It was
There we go. Very nice. Love to see it.
just a natural reaction of mine to want to be original. You know, originality is literally the most important thing for an artist to have. You know, if you don't have originality, what do you have? Like, honestly, think about it, man.
Well, actually, like, the most important thing an artist should have is technique, and they should have 3 hours of repertoire memorized. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, obviously, of course, originality is important. Of course, I would also say another really important aspect of artistry is honing your craft and being good at what you do, having the tools in your tool shed to actually make what is inside of you. And I think that that's a stereotype of classical musicians specifically, that they're not original because they just play other people's notes. And that's not really how it actually is. There's no difference between writing a piece of music and then learning a piece of music that somebody wrote, because at some point in that journey, the music becomes a part of you. That piece that I wrote that had that stupid title, The Lowest Point of My Life, I wrote this, I had to relearn that. I had the sheet music for it. I wrote it out at the time. I didn't know how to play it anymore. I like barely remembered it. And I even changed a bunch of stuff in the sheet music because I'm just like a more experienced, better guitarist. And I was like, I'm not going to do that now. I'm going to do this. So what do we make of that? This piece just exists now. I did write it, but I don't remember what I was feeling when I wrote that. But I play it, and I try to play it in a way as if I am improvising it in the moment. But in that, you have to get really good at each movement, and like each note connection needs to be so practiced and rehearsed to make it sound fluent that like I feel like anyone could say like, oh well, this is like, it might as well have been written by someone else, you know? Like I didn't improvise it. It's not like it came from my soul in the very moment. Who cares if it came from somebody else's soul if you're able to realize that music and tell a story with it, and also first, before doing that, ingraining it into yourself as if you are improvising it every time you play it. That's the ultimate goal of learning any piece of music. Because guess what? Any piece that you arrange, like Mozart's Requiem or whatever, it's a rehearsed performance after a certain point. The originality comes from within. It doesn't matter what music you're playing, ultimately. Also, everyone is original. There are no non-original people. I know that we like to pretend there are when somebody like cuts us off in traffic and it's like, screw that person. I bet they never amount to anything in their life. But every person has lived a completely unique set of experiences, and anything they do you could look at as art. Even the way they get out of bed, you know, is an artistic expression of whatever they're feeling that day. So I think a lot of that is perspective too. And it's really fun sometimes to just pretend that someone isn't original, but they are, and so are you, by the way. So just make some music. All right.
Nothing that can replace being original, because you can Bob Dylan and basically not be able to sing, but because you're so pure and unapologetic, then your voice is iconic.
Dude, again with the elitism, Bob Dylan can't sing, bro. The point still stands, even though we're kind of discrediting Bob Dylan's talent. Yeah, he's not an opera singer. Okay. You know, like, that's not required to be able to sing.
Bob Dylan and basically not be able to sing. Can't go to Juilliard singing as like Bob Dylan does, you know? I don't think so, at least.
Thank God, too, right? Imagine people studying to be Bob Dylan. What a joke, right? Hey, all the 50-plus-year-old sore ends people, let's get some comments about that one.
The reaction to the classical world that kind of tells you what to do exactly, I was like, no, like I'm actually gonna choose myself, you know?
Hey, and look at that. Now you're Bob Dylan. And wait, am I Marcin in that? I don't know. Never mind. Must be the music 9. Taiko Musica. Niedzila 2000. That was for all the Polish folk out there. Have fun with that.
The moment when it clicked, I went to this competition.
Competition, like show, like American Idol, not like a guitar competition. All right.
Poland, the place I used to live. You know, it was me, I was like 10, nearly 10 at that point, and other kids, and I've been only playing for 3 months, so this was just like on a whim situation. I wasn't really expecting much, and I won. I won the thing.
So you won, essentially, like, Poland's Got Talent after playing guitar for 3 months? I don't know, man. That sounds absurd. Okay, well, I'm certainly not finding it. Maybe somebody can send that to me, but that sounds like just fake. Like, what do you, 3 months and you, like, showed up and you were able to play guitar well enough to win Poland's Got Talent? What, does Poland have, like, the least talented people on Earth? Like, what?
Playing for 3 months.
Dude, who are your freaking competitors?
10, nearly 10.
I mean, I guess he is just kind of smacking around the guitar, but, like, still, like, to go up there with the confidence to do that as a 10-year-old for playing for, like, you don't even consider yourself a guitarist at that point. 3 months, that's nothing, dude.
10, nearly 10 at that point, and other kids, and I've been...
I mean, he's doing, like, a trill, like, something. I don't... The only way I could see this being possible is if he had the set piece that he was going to play for Poland's Got Talent, and he, from day one, started just working on this one thing, 8 hours a day for 3 months straight. I don't know, maybe Marcin is just that much of a natural to like an impossible extent.
Only playing for 3 months, so this was just like on a whim.
And he just already has his style developed. He's a tapper. He's tapping, y'all. That's it. Like, I know when I was 3 months in, I didn't have my style developed. I was learning, like, Sweet Child of Mine, like I said, or some other rock tunes. Like, I was learning, I don't mean to curse, I'm sorry, but Damn It by Blink-182. Dude, he just has his stuff figured out. He knew exactly what he was going to play for the rest of his life when he was 10 after 3 months. If that's the case, I would suggest, like, branch out a little bit, you know? Like, because you're doing the same thing you've always been doing. Do something else. I don't know. All right, sorry.
Situation, I wasn't really expecting much, and I won. I won the thing, which still I'm really surprised about. I won the competition. I got
Yeah, that's incredibly surprising. I'm hearing a lot of open strings in the recording,
first prize,
too.
and my
So, I don't know, maybe it was just, like, somebody tuned his guitar to like some open tuning. He just kind of banged around, and everybody sucks so bad that they were like, "We'll just give it to this kid, whatever."
parents freaked out. I remember, like, they freaked out more than I did.
Yeah, dude, no wonder you got like music videos made when you were like 14. I would be freaking out if my kid won something like that. I'd be like, let's funnel all the money we can into this. My kid's a genius. Let's do it. Crazy if true. And I'm sure it is true. Why would he lie about that? But I feel like there's some missing context in there that we're not getting. Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm editing in the studio. I believe the missing context there is that this was a show for children, as in like children competitors, which is more believable, but also children of Poland. Let's step it up a little bit. 3 months? Are you kidding me?
That's one of the first memories that I have, which is just like just cooked in my brain.
Dude, that memory was cooked. He was cooking for that one.
Ever since then, it just kind of keeps going and going, you know?
Yeah, no kidding. It's just ever since you were 10, you're just on stage freaking ripping it up.
If you're on stage or in the studio and you're performing a piece and you don't understand what you're doing, why are you even there? You're just a robot, man. You're AI. If you're performing movements that produce sound, that's not art. It's not music. So,
and that's exactly the point that I'm making, where the originality and the storytelling is internal. It doesn't matter what you're playing. You could be playing your own music that you wrote. You could be playing something that Mertz wrote, or Soar, or Bach, and it's all about what's inside that makes it interesting. And I don't believe you when you say that you go to a classical concert and it's a performer, which this is rare, by the way. Not every performer is like this, including myself. There are glimpses of it sometimes, and I see it, and that is what I'm aware of and that I'm chasing. But if you go to a stuffy classical recital, solo rep, one person, it's boring. It's usually boring. But if they're really that in tune with their instrument and the music that they're playing, you're telling me that you're still bored watching that? It just sounds like you didn't know anybody who played classical guitar like that, which is like understandable, because the repertoire we play on classical guitar and getting it to that point to where we can actually express ourselves through a fugue or something is so hard. And that's what's so fascinating about it. And that's what's so beautiful about it when you hear like David Russell playing, like when David's playing like in the cathedral, like 997, and you just, it is overwhelming hearing something like that. Or when you just hear a master playing the chaconne or something, there's nothing more enthralling than that. It's the pinnacle for me of all the music I've figured out up until this point. Like, obviously there are other genres of music where it is that insane. Like the most obvious one is like bebop jazz. Like when you hear a soloist who can just take like 5 choruses and just tell like Beowulf or something. The genre of music, the technique, all of that is just stuff that surrounds the storytelling and the originality, or really the expression. And that's the thing. I see that in the classical world. The greatest classical players can do that, and that's something that I aspire to do. I just don't see it in the modern, like, tappy guitar, like, Instagram reel stuff. I just don't see that. You know? Like, it's flashy and it's exciting, but talking about, like, expression and, like, I don't know, I just don't see it. Like, I think if anybody could make me see it, it would probably be you, because it seems like you're in tune with this stuff and that you have a great classical foundation and you're applying that to your music. But taking somebody who doesn't have that foundation, like, I don't know, just these like shredder people, it just, I don't feel what you're saying there. And that's pretty much it. All right, I think we can probably wrap up this interview, but let's go a little bit further.
For me, technique obviously was extremely important, and I guess I'm a little known as the technical guy because I just do a lot of difficult stuff, I guess. But there's an intention behind everything, and there's a style that encompasses the whole thing.
If you say so, I'll take your word for it. But, you know, I have a hard time seeing it. Maybe I haven't invested long enough in that style of tappy music to be there. Okay, this interview's like half over. I'm pretty sure that he's just gonna like praise Diodario for the second half of it. I've skimmed this interview a bit. I'm not sure if anything else interesting is talked about, but very good interview. Honestly, it just kind of confirms how I feel about Marcin already. I know he is like a very technical, very good, would be good classical guitarist, but good at whatever kind of guitar he's playing now. Apparently, he was impossibly gifted as a kid and won a whole show after 3 months of practicing. I don't know how that happened, but whatever, man. Cool. Good job. No teacher, too, apparently. You just, like, full-natured that. That's wild. You're not gonna do that, by the way. Anybody watching, go get a teacher, because you're not Marcin. I'm not Marcin either. Like, none of us are. Nobody else does it. He's like, it's probably a world record. The least amount of time playing an instrument to winning a show like that. It's a world record, I'm sure. He should be in the record books. It seems like he cares about music a lot, and of course, he's, like, skeptical of classical guitarists. I think he's closer to them than he might realize in a lot of ways. And again, the whole narrative of, like, classical musicians, it's like stale, you're like AI just playing notes. It's an easy narrative to adopt because like just saying that people are unoriginal and boring and they're just like reproducing notes, it's so fun to say that. It's so easy to say that. I'm telling you it's not true though. I'm saying that about Marcin a lot of times. He's telling you that it's not true. Really, what I think you should take from this is that good things come when you invest into a genre of any kind for a long length of time. The more you deepen your understanding in anything, I don't care if it's guitar, it could be like crocheting or like running, something, it doesn't matter. You'll find it to be a rewarding experience. I think the worst thing you can do with your life is to just bounce around a bunch of things and never actually truly invest in something. So you know, Marcin's doing that. I'm trying to do that. I hope that all of you got something out of this video. That's the Marcin Diodario video. We freaking did it, guys. Is there any more Marcin content that can be made? I actually have an idea for one more Marcin video, but that's going to be coming out in December. You'll see. It's a pretty exciting idea. I think you guys will like it. Of course, videos are coming out every other day at the very least, but for now, we are done. Let's wrap it up. Hey, of course, if you made it this far, be sure to subscribe and leave a like. Want some classical guitar lessons? Marcin wants you to get lessons. I want you to get lessons. So if you want some lessons, I know some grad students who are taking students. It's all online. It's all classical. So if that's something you're interested in, go ahead and do that. Be sure to pick up some Augustine strings. They're not my sponsor yet, but you know, we're getting rid of the Diodario. Dude, watch this. This is gonna like get me demonetized here. Look at that. Ripping them up. And, I'm making some people nervous right now. I know a lot of you have Diodario sponsorships. Dude, that's how I feel about it. We're shaking things up over here. Of course, head on down over to Ruten's Delight for some merch. Maybe don't buy anything. There's gonna be a sale all through December, so don't buy anything yet. But December 1st, there's gonna be a sale. And yeah, I don't know, anything else? That was a pretty fun one. Like, again, he just keeps on giving me this great content to watch, and I feel like this one was pretty thought-provoking, so that was fun. Yeah. Alright, well, I'll see you in the next one.
I didn't like that. I'm gonna get it perfect, okay? Do you mind?
Yeah.
Like I want it to be perfect, man. I just started to understand that performing is more than just playing the right notes.